we go. Namaste. Well, this is a reading that people will go off the rails about, I'm sure. Some people will be wanting my head on a platter after this. But I wanted to do this. I'm going to do this in one set of cards, and then I want to do the reading in another set of cards just to see what's going to happen. So this will be an interesting experiment to do. The question that I had is, what is the consciousness of the Dalai Lama? Now, I know the Dalai Lama, he says after this time that he won't be coming back. There will be no more Dalai Lama in place. Essentially getting rid of that system, ahead to that system. There are so many factions of Buddhism, though. Under that system, there are some paths in Tibetan Buddhism that are actual paths of practice. And then I think, for the most part, a lot of the paths in Buddhism now have become intellectualized. Now, if you've lived in India and you've been to Dharamsala, and you've been around where the Dalai Lama is, and the things that are going on up there, you see every day they have the faction of these Tibetan lamas out there debating. One will debate a point, and then the next one will come and debate a point. Now, it sounds well and good. It sounds deep. It sounds wonderful, but it's all intellectual. There is no direct experience. The ones that have the direct experience are usually the ones that have become like the sadhus. They're out in the caves. They're out alone. They're out doing the practices. Yeah, they have the ones that will go for 4 years, 4 months, 4 days, out to confront themselves, to confront the mind, to do that solitary practice. And those are the ones that will transcend, okay? But the ones that are sitting there doing the intellectual study, it's like going to school, basically, studying to be a physician, studying to be a doctor, studying to be a surgeon without ever picking up a scalpel. Okay? See how far that would go. Would you want them to actually operate on you? No. Okay. So anyway, I did this reading, and I wanted to preface this a little bit before, because hearing the Dalai Lama speak, there are very big tells that take place. One of the biggest tell, for me, the hugest, I mean big tell, because people want to think the Dalai Lama is an enlightened being. He's Chenrezig. He is Buddha. He is an enlightened being that has come back again and again and again. Well, the biggest tell for me was when he said, and he always says, I'm just a simple monk. And people think he's being, that somehow the Dalai Lama is just being modest. But he's not. He's been, understand, he has been raised to be a statesman. He has not been raised to actually do the practices. Okay? He just hasn't. And the biggest tell on that is, he says, I've even heard it said that there are some that have a still mind. I've heard it said there are some that exist that have a still mind. Of course, I'm not one of them. So immediately, he is not an enlightened being. To be an enlightened being, one has to be in Turiya Tita. The mind has to have stilled. Okay? And so that becomes very clear in this reading. And he has had no time to do practices. He's been sat on a throne since a young age and taught how to be a statesman. Again, taught how to answer these things in a way that sounds good for humanity, but he has no direct experience of realization. To actually be a Chanrezi, a Buddha, an awakened one has to be within that consciousness of the Turiya Tita, okay, where mind has stilled. Okay, so let's look at this. The first card that comes out is, I saw the first card and I go, oh, mercy. We are in trouble with this with people. Okay, first, the consciousness of the Buddha. Guilt and sorrow. Guilt and sorrow at the message he's been giving out to humanity and the death of the system. So that's where we start with the Dalai Lama. Okay, so what's preceding this is that he is in a place again of comfort, of all the material things, but he has not faced Yama. He has not faced that death before death. He has not faced ego. Hasn't done it. Okay? He has not done the path needed to get to realization. No, instead he is in here and he is preaching this path of love and the things of this planet. Okay? Again, all sounds good in what he says to people. Okay? He sits here in a position of power. Okay? Supposedly to be the man with the knowledge of, heartfelt wisdom. Okay? But really, inwardly, he's fighting within himself because he knows really he is still bound and is still hanging and inwardly searching. He is not a realized being. And that's why he says he's putting an end to the system. Okay? Because it is not coming from a person of enlightenment, the wisdom of the still mind, that it's coming from intellectual things that he has studied, that he has been schooled in, that sounds good on the surface, okay, on how to navigate this plane of existence, all the things in here. People like to hear that message. Okay, again, like to have somebody in a position of authority. Okay, but really, within, he is struggling and still looking at things, and again has sorrow and guilt because he's being put in a position of power to give out this message when he knows, that's why he's putting an end to this system and I'm not coming back, because he knows he hasn't done the work. He hasn't gone beyond ego, hasn't faced that death before death. He's sitting on easy street. And again, this is a big conflict within himself. So, yeah, I know there will be a lot of people which want to believe that the Dalai Lama is realized, that he is a realized Buddha being, that he is a Buddha. But he is a statesman, raised from a young age to be a statesman, to be a, what do you call it, like a symbol, to be more like a symbol. Sort of like the Queen of England. She's, the royal family is a symbol. They're not really in control of everything. They are a symbol that's there. And the Dalai Lama has become a symbol. Okay. So, I'm going to leave this here and going to do the other cards and see what happens with that. It's a totally different system, so we'll see if something else plays out. But this one was like, ooh, very telling. And so I'm going to leave this here for now, because I will have people after my head today after putting this out, I am sure. Okay, namaste. Have a wonderful day.